If you've not heard of The Art of War, it's become a Bible for business people and entrepreneurs, which has been stories written by the military leader Sun Tzu over 2,500 years ago about the art of war. The 13 chapters cover different aspects of war, but framed in such a way that we today can apply it to our own businesses. So in this video, I'm going to give you 5 ChatGPT prompts inspired by the art of war that I'll be using to take my business to the next level. Number 1, employ deception. Sun Tzu says, all warfare is based on deception. Now, you might think that deception is more relevant for war than it is for business, but you could be wrong. And deception is really about not being transparent with everything that you do. So if you look at a brand like KFC or Coca-Cola, there's a playful mystique around the ingredients which go into their product. It almost feels like a deliberate marketing angle which they use to make you feel like their product is unique. And on a micro level, it gives you this warm feeling, a little bit like your grandmother's secret cake recipe. But in practical terms, it could also mean holding off on a public announcement until you've got the green light or the contract has been signed on the dotted line. Personally, I don't share any of the big plans that we have in our organization until the right time. So as an example, we are planning for our 10th youth business fair in December, and I knew about it during the summer holidays, but I also knew that people were away, schools were off, and it wasn't the best time to share that information. And there's also a bunch of things that we are working on within our company which are IP related that I'm not going to disclose because it removes the first mover advantage that we could have in the market. So here's a ChatGPT prompt that you can use to help protect your business and add an element of deception today or in the future. So here's the prompt. Become my company strategic consultant, advising on when we communicate our ideas at the right time, in the right place, to the right people. What should we protect as intellectual property, and what should we share with the public? If you stick around to the end of the video, I'll be posting a link which shows the responses ChatGPT gives to each one of these prompts for our own business. To know your enemy, first know yourself. Sun Tzu says, if you know yourself and you know your enemy, you need not fear the outcome of 100 battles. Knowing yourself is classic advice for anyone who has seen a life coach or if you've watched a video on entrepreneurial success. But how does this help you in business? Well, practically, if you are able to be introspective enough to know what your own strengths and weaknesses are, then you'll be able to see those in your competition. So if you're going into a competitive market, then you need to be able to assess the strengths and weaknesses of your competition in order to know how you're going to compete and win against them. Now, we have the classic SWOT analysis that exists, which is a really great tool. But again, the first step really is an analysis. So the first step is to do a SWOT analysis on yourself and to be honest and objective enough to admit what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, which requires you to kind of put your ego aside and to have a real honest look at the things that you're good at and the things that you're not good at. Once you're able to get down to that level, you'll be able to see almost a mirror image of those strengths and of those weaknesses in your competitors. So practically, what does that look like? Does it mean that you can see that their email strategy isn't great, their social media strategy is absolutely amazing, their customer service could do with some work, or that they are more bricks and mortar than they are digital? Whatever it might be, it gives you an indication as to where you can enter into the market and chip away at the competition so that you can exist within that marketplace and do extremely well. It's the same reason why in the superhero movies, the villain is usually able to initially outsmart the hero because the villain can see the hero's weak points. And usually the villain can see the hero's weak points before the hero can work out the villain's weak points, which is where the turnaround happens and the hero wins the day. So here's the prompt you can stick into ChatGPT to apply this ancient wisdom. Assist me in gaining a deeper understanding of my company's identity and potential. Our company specializes in, and here you would describe your company's focus for this type of customer base, and we have a track record of mention how long you've been in operation for and any notable achievements. When our customers are delighted with our services, it's often due to this. So you would highlight the strengths in your customer satisfaction. On the flip side, when we miss out on a prospect or customer, it's often because, and here you explain the factors that might lead to them going elsewhere. As a business coach, please provide an assessment of our company's strengths, weaknesses, available resources and capabilities, offer insights on how we can enhance our position in the market and stay ahead of our competitors. You can try putting that entire thing into ChatGPT and see if it comes up with a response. You can also regenerate the response so that ChatGPT can improve on what it's delivered. A second thing you can do with all of these responses is to break them down into singular or shorter requests, because sometimes ChatGPT can be a little bit overwhelmed if you give it too much information. Number 3, play your position at the right time. Sun Tzu says, in war, the way is to avoid what is strong and strike at what is weak. Is that what he says? Yep, I got that right. So how can you apply this to your business? So following on from knowing your enemy, use this prompt to specifically hone in on the area of the business that you're trying to take down, the big Goliath in your industry, so that you can find a chink in their armor and figure out, based on your size and available resources, what you should do next. So here's the prompt. My company is active in the, and here you mention your industry, which can be described as, and then explain the industry's landscape, including its key players and the niche that you occupy. Based on your understanding of our strengths, please recommend areas where we can have a distinct advantage for potential industry dominance or delivering exceptional value to our customers. Number 4, adapt or die. Sun Tzu says, water shapes its course, I'm not gonna get this right, am I? Water shapes its course according to the nature of the ground over which it flows. Water shapes its course according to the nature of the ground over which it flows. Did I get that right? Okay. Unfortunately, entrepreneurs cannot control the market, the laws of the land, government policy, or the latest trends facing your customers every day. As an entrepreneur, you will always face uncertainty. And if you're unable to adapt, and I mean really quickly, then you will simply decline, which really means you're going out of business. And with AI simply doing the most around us, industries are changing more rapidly than ever. So if you've got a rigid marketing plan or strategy that you're not prepared to review and revise every quarter, then it may lose its effectiveness over time. So use this ChatGPT prompt to become more adaptable. I'm eager to explore ways to make my business more adaptable, drawing from your expertise in economics and human behavior and considering our industry and customer offerings. I'd like you to offer predictions on potential developments over the next 5 years. Additionally, provide thoughtful recommendations on how we can proactively address and overcome any challenges that may arise during this period. Now, you can see in this prompt, I didn't say what the industry was or what our background is, and that's because the previous questions, ChatGPT will draw context from what we've already said and how we've already described our business and use it in this response. Last but not least, number 5, don't force it. Sun Tzu says, a leader leads by example and not by force. Now, a leader is the biggest success factor for any organization, no pressure. But just because you have founded an organization and you hold the title CEO, that doesn't by default make you a good leader. Trust me, it's something that you need to work on. And leadership has been a very steep hill for me to climb, but essential in our organization's survival throughout these tough times. And here is a ChatGPT prompt I wish I had a few years ago. When I encounter frustration with my team, it often stems from certain team members exhibiting behaviors like, and here you will describe those suboptimal behaviors. As my goal is to inspire, motivate, and guide my team rather than resort to criticism or intimidation, could you kindly provide suggestions on how I can approach discussions with them about these areas in a constructive manner to bring about positive change? Okay, so to summarize, employ deception to protect your business's position. To know your enemy, first know yourself. Use strategies to get the most out of positioning and timing. Adapt to the ever-changing landscape or die. And lastly, don't force your team, lead them. And if you found that useful, please share it with an entrepreneur who you think it could help. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll catch you on the next video. Ultra and out.